Before we get going in today's video, if you would like to check out my new EFL channel, it will be the first link in the description down below. I don't want to ramble too much about this, but there'll be plenty of EFL content from the Championship, League One and League Two coming to that channel across, the next season in the EFL. So if you would like to check that out and keep up to date with everything that's happening, shirt rankings, we'll be looking at best and worst players, an overview for every game week. Everything will be on that channel, so click the first link in the description below. Any support and all the support you've shown me so far is massively appreciated. And let's get into talking about this top tier signing. Welcome to Wrexham Dan Scarr. Wrexham have made yet another signing in the summer transfer window. This time we have added 29-year-old defender Dan Scarr to our defending department on a 3-year deal. What a signing this is. So before we get going into today's transfer video, if you're looking for all the best Wrexham AFC content on YouTube, this is the place to be. Make sure to get down there and click the red subscribe button. We're so close to hitting 25,000 subscribers. So like I said, if you're looking for transfer news on the club, general updates, everything regarding Wrexham Football Club will be on this channel. So make sure to get down there and click the red subscribe button. So Wrexham have confirmed the signing of defender Dan Scarr on an undisclosed fee for a 3-year deal. Now we're going to be giving a bit of a profile on the defender Dan Scarr that we have just signed. He's of course a 29-year-old defender who kick-started his career off at non-league side Stourbridge, most notably where he did have a string of really good performances against higher league opposition in the FA Cup. It's obviously a game I remember well, Stourbridge versus Wycombe, where Dan Scarr actually did score in that game, and he had some, like I said, some really good performances against EFL opposition, and of course that good game and that goal in the third round against Wycombe Wanderers. After having that successful 2 seasons at Stourbridge, Dan Scarr did get the big move to Birmingham City, where he didn't really play as much games as he wanted to. He didn't really get the game time. I think he only played 1 time in the EFL Cup over his 2-year stint at the Blue Noses, so it's definitely a disappointing stint for Scarr at Birmingham City. But in the meantime, he went to Wycombe Wanderers on loan, where he did play 26 times, and of course he went back to Birmingham. After his stint at Birmingham City, he made the short trip over to Walsall when they were in League One at the time, and over the course of the 2.5 seasons that Dan Scarr was playing his football in Walsall, he played 96 times, proving to be a really key player in the Saddlers' back line. After his really successful spell at Walsall, Scarr did get the big move to Plymouth Argyle, where again he had a really long stay, 3 years. He was playing his football at home park, and 3 years where Dan Scarr got plenty of game time under his belt. And of course the most notable thing happening in his career at Plymouth Argyle was that promotion in the 22-23 season, and across his whole spell down in South Devon he did play 109 times in 3 seasons. Like I said, like he was at Walsall, being an ever-present in the back line for Plymouth. Now there were whispers of Dan Scarr signing a few hours ago, so we sort of expected that it was going to be Dan Scarr. I got in contact with a Plymouth fan and I asked him a bit about Dan Scarr, what we can expect from him, why is he possibly leaving after having a lot of games under his belt last season and obviously the promotion the previous season. He said he's fantastic in the air, he's a really strong defender and is a top quality League One defender. And of course in their promotion winning season, Dan Scarr did start 32 League One games with an average rating of 7.2, which across that 32 game span is a very good rating. Further looking into that really successful season that Dan Scarr did have for Plymouth Argyle in the 2022-23 season, I think his stats just do it justice, and his stats back up the fact that he had a really successful season, and 182 duels won, 118 aerial duels won, 51 interceptions, and to cap it off he got December Player of the Month. So those stats, I mean, they're some of the best in the league. I was researching and looking at the other defenders in the league that season. No one came close to competing with the duels that Dan Scarr did win, aerial and of course on the floor. So I think we've got ourselves a really strong and capable defender of doing the dirty work at the back, being really present, when it comes to defending set pieces, and he could even be a really good threat, when it comes to our set pieces from corners and further up the pitch. So that's something to keep in mind. I think Dan Scarr might chip in with a couple of goals this season from set pieces. It's clear to see, they just back up the fact that Dan Scarr is a defender that's gained a lot of quality over his career. He's steadily gone, from Stourbridge. Didn't get the game time at Birmingham, but he didn't let that affect him. He got the loan move to Wycombe and then the permanent move to Walsall, where of course he did spend 2.5 seasons, and then Plymouth. I think once you get Dan Scarr playing regular football like we've seen at Walsall and Plymouth, he will be a really good defender and he will be ever present in the back line when called upon. Something else important to note as well, at Plymouth Argyle, the last couple of seasons they've had a few manager changes. I think they've had 4 in the past 3 seasons, if I'm right in saying. He worked really well under Ryan Lowe and Schumacher, so to see that he can consistently work under different managers in changing circumstances, I think this says a lot about Dan Scarr as a player. So I have no doubt in my mind that Parky will get the best out of Dan Scarr, and Dan Scarr will have no issue issue in settling into this team and becoming a really, really good player. And of course, it just speaks for itself. This is a really good signing at bolstering the department at the centre-back role by bringing in Dan Scarr, a defender I think was definitely on the wish list for Phil Parkinson. You know, we heard him say when we did have that USA tour and Canada, of course, a couple of days ago, that he was speaking to a few players as we speak, and I assume Dan Scarr was one of those players. It's not a signing that I think would have been done really quickly. Of course, Dan Scarr's playing in the Championship. He's, you know, played over half the games in the Championship last year for Plymouth Argyle, so it was definitely a question that Dan Scarr had to ask himself. Was he ready for that step down to League One? Could he see it as a fresh challenge? Was it right for his career? And I'm sure Parky, Ryan and Rob, everyone behind the scenes has done wonders in getting Dan Scarr to sign. And further looking at our centre-back options, that now does mean that we have Dan Scarr, Owen O'Connell, Will Boyle, Tom O'Connor, Lewis Brun and of course our homegrown player Max Cleworth. They're 6 really, really good quality centre-backs, and we are spoilt for choice when it comes, you know, to fielding that back three. We've got 6 players that can easily come in that team and be a really, really good part of the back line and can give us a solid 7 out of 10 performance every week. And to think that 3 of these players will be on the bench on a game day is absolutely crazy. And going into that Wycombe Wanderers first game of the season, if we're trying to predict what the back 3 will be in that game, very, very tough. I can imagine Max Cleworth won't lose his spot. Will Owen O'Connell start? Will Lewis Brunt start? I think we'll definitely need that left-sided centre-back in that back 3. But then again, could Parky look to ditch that and just have quality over, you know, comfortability on that left-hand side? Because Dan Scarr is really capable of playing in anywhere across the back line, whether it be left centre-back, right centre-back or the centre-back role. There is going to be a lot of questions asked over who is going to be the starting back 3 going into the first game of the season. And of course, trying to predict that really does mean nothing because, you know, we could switch from one back 3 to another back 3, you know, one game week and another game week, and I don't think we'd see much of a difference. That's, you know, how much quality that Parky has got into that back line. And of course, letting go our captain Ben Tozer, Aaron Hayden, who had some really good games under us and had a really good first season at the club, Jordan Tunnicliffe, who was good when he played but of course injury prone. You know, they're 3 really good players, and to think Parky's replaced them with 2 really good defenders so far in Lewis Brunt and Dan Scarr. They're players that can take us to the next level and they're capable of doing some really good things in League One, and of course it is great business by Phil Parkinson. I'm sure they've put a lot of effort in behind the scenes to get Dan Scarr and of course Lewis Brunt to sign, so well done to everyone that got this deal across the line because it is one hell of a signing. Having a quick read on social media about what Plymouth fans have to say on this deal, a lot of them are saying they're gutted and they hope that they've got a replacement lined up, because as we saw last year that Dan Scarr was that backup role, but of course when he was called upon he had a really good season. He had some really good games against some really good opposition in the Championship last season, so I can understand why Plymouth fans are gutted to see Dan Scarr go. But I'm not a Plymouth fan, I'm a Wrexham fan, so I'm going to sit here and say I'm absolutely delighted to see Dan Scarr put pen to paper for 3 years, and of course he makes the move up to North Wales. I've got down in my notes here, does Dan Scarr jump straight into the starting 11 for that first game of the season? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below, because for me, I think it would be silly not to start Dan Scarr. A player of his quality, bringing him in, he's got that League One promotion under his belt, he's a really, really good defender when it comes to the physical side, and I'm sure he's a good leader as well in that back line. So I have a feeling inside me that Dan Scarr will be one of our starting centre-backs in the first game of the season. Like I said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and let me know your thoughts overall on the signing and the transfer window that we've had so far. I think another thing that I've just read on Twitter now, a Plymouth fan said that Dan Scarr doesn't suit a back 4, which could possibly be one of the reasons why he has left the club. So I would have to do more research into this to see if Plymouth were playing a 5 at the back. But if they were playing a 5 at the back, even better, because, you know, we'll be used to the positions and the formation that they're playing in with that back 5, so that could be another really key asset to, you know, bringing him into the club, and of course a bonus in signing Dan Scarr. So yeah, that is it. Wrexham load the HP printer yet again to make another wonderful signing, as we are very, very close now to starting our League One season. Just over a week away from our League One season and our first League One game at home to Wycombe Wanderers. I cannot wait. I haven't been this excited for a season in years, probably since the first season, you know, that the takeover had with fans. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm really looking forward to see all these new signings and of course seeing the old players back in action. So if you did enjoy, make sure to drop a like, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, subscribe as well, we're so close to hitting 25,000 subscribers, and go and check out my new EFL channel linked in this description down below, and I'll see you in another video. Take care guys, up the town.